Here we go. Out there somewhere. Okay. Science of Mind textbook, Ernest Holmes. The science of mind is not a special revelation of an individual. It is rather the accumulation of all revelations. We take the good wherever we find it, making it our own insofar as we understand it. The science of mind is a philosophy of faith, a way of life. The science of mind is not something to just be studied. It is something to be lived. It is to be explored. It is to be implemented. It is to be embodied, really, however we choose to embody it. But this teaching is not something that we just study and discuss. It's something that we live. We incorporate it. And we gather to support each other in that process of making it our own. In the book, This Thing Called You, Ernest starts it off, the very first sentence. You, like others, are seeking the joy of living. You wish to be needed, to be loved, to be included in the great drama of life. Isn't that beautiful? The great drama of life is not the day-to-day drama that we're seeing, experience, or feeling. The great drama of life is that opportunity to create, to know that the same energy, the same one, the same intelligence that created each of us allows the desert to bloom with rain, allows the rose to have thorns and still smell so sweet. It is all that same creation. And this teaching, these principles provide us the tools that we need to do that implementation, to create that life of fulfillment, of joy, and of abundance. It allows us to take that shift. He also states, and I think this is just sort of something to ponder a little bit. He states that God is more completely expressed through the one who lives largely than the one who lives meagerly. On the surface, that sounds like basic 101 common sense, right? But the difference between living meagerly and living largely is simply our state of consciousness. Meagerly, it means to be small, to hold back, to choose safety over expansion, to look at scarcity that's happening versus the possibility of what can happen. It's about being hesitant to really explore one's life versus just doing it, stepping out and doing it. Living largely, on the other hand, is about knowing that we're in divine partnership with the One. Knowing that we are surrounded by people, individuals, events, and circumstances that are wanting to support us because they're all directed and guided. Whether we live meagerly or whether we live largely is totally a matter of personal choice. It's about how we allow ourselves to lead forward with that consciousness. That consciousness that can either operate from a place of lack and limitation and fear and doubt and, oh, not this again, to a consciousness that says, you know what? I and Spirit are one. I am the divine creation expressing itself uniquely through, for, and as me. Because we are surrounded by the One. It reacts to our beliefs, our thoughts, our thinking. And as we change our beliefs, we change our consciousness. So, living merely is simply a mindset if you think about it. Fear, lack, and limitation, just a mindset. And it's such an easy mindset for all of us to be into, right? There are so many things telling us that we are not enough. But we are enough. And this month, we're going to look at that idea of our enoughness through the lens of that power of love. Rhonda Burns writes, people who have great lives think and talk about what they love more than what they don't love. And people who are struggling think and talk more about what they don't love than what they do love. Think about it. Where we put our focus is what comes forward. And when we follow love, when we follow the love within and know that we are love, when we do that, then we're bringing that aspect of love into all parts of our life. We're bringing it into our relationships and into our workplace. We're bringing it into the grocery store, if you think about it. Because we know that the universe is working for us, to our highest and greatest good. Why would we choose to think anything other than that? So this month, we are going to explore some questions. So, what are your aspirations and your dreams? What does your heart desire? What experiences do you wish to have? Who is it that you came here to be? How are we being called to touch the world? And all of those questions boils down to just one. That one is, what would I love to do? What would I love to do? That is the question we're going to look at all of this month. It's interesting, because how many times do we actually think about that question? Versus, what should I do? What can I afford to do? What do people expect me to do? What would people intelligence that is who we are an expression of? It allows us to transform our work into our joy and to express all of our divine gifts fully, no matter how simple we think they are. It connects us with others who are also living from that highest calling. That idea of, what do I love? I'm going to challenge all of us to allow it to be our main question for this month of February. Because when we ignore that inner guidance, we're going uphill. We are struggling and not striving. We are playing it safe instead of fully expressing our true self. So I would like us to look at 5 ways, 5 really simple ways, and none of these are new. You've heard them all before. But 5 ways that we can allow love to lead us. First, it's about listening to that inner yes, that part of you that already exists, that part of you that knows what lights you up, that part of you that wants more of that to come out and to play. That voice that says within you, come this way. Take that small step. Just a small step, and you can crawl it if you need to, but start. Which takes us to the idea of trust. Trust, because that passion that we feel within, that passion that we have spent so much time and energy ignoring, we want it, when we let it, let's just trust it enough to let us come out and play with us. Because the universe is always conspiring for our good. Now, I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm not conspiring for my good. Sometimes I'm wallowing. Sometimes I'm playing it small and playing it safe and just hiding under the covers. But that's not what we're here to do. We're here to say yes, and then to know from that place of trust that there is a greater good. There is a greater expression. There is more peace and joy. There's just so much more for us to be, do, and have. We're not here by random selection. We're here to express who we are. And we're here at the right time, doing the right steps. And as we take those steps, the next one, and base it on what's saying, yes, do this, then we are going up that great ladder of abundance. The other thing we can do is to take inspired action. Because, as Martha says, clarity comes from action, not thought. Reverend Joanne last week shared with us, you can pray, treat, affirm, journal, all you want. But if you're sitting on the sofa eating bonbons, the odds of it coming up, do they even still sell bonbons? The odds of it showing up are pretty much slim. One needs to take inspired action. We need to walk the walk. We don't need to talk the talk of this teaching. We need to walk the walk. We need to step out confidently, just knowing that this is our direction, and if we choose to change it, we get to. But we need to take action. And the easiest way to take action is to surround yourself with inspiration. Books, podcasts, social media, people that you hang out with. People that you want to be like. If you're not so happy about how things are flowing and how life is expressing, take a look at what inspiration you have around you. Who are you hanging out with? Are they living the life that you inspire to be? Do they have that same passion? Do they have that willingness? Do they have a consciousness that's allowing them to live largely? They're kind of hard questions to ask about the people you hang out with, especially if those people are family. There's that. But you can still read inspiration, and you can expand who you're hanging with. You can come hang out with all of us. We're kind of fun to hang out with. And in today's world with Zoom there and whatever other online media there is, there's just so many ways to take yourself and put yourself into that place of divine inspiration. And lastly, something that I just can't talk enough about because, man, it's such a game changer, and that's to practice gratitude daily. Even when there's nothing to be grateful for, you're taking a breath. Your heart's still beating. Those simple things. You still have the ability to look in the mirror and say, I really love you. Those simple things. I don't know who, Meister Eckhart said, if the only prayer you ever pray is thank you, that's plenty. And it is. And here's the thing about gratitude. It's not about being grateful things are going so great. It's about being grateful that things are going so lousy that there's no place to go but up. It's about being grateful when you're so sad. Because it is that gratitude that will allow grace to come in. It is that gratitude that allows you to take that step further up. It is gratitude that allows you to not stay in the muck for any longer than you have to. There is a spiritual text back from the 1400s called The Cloud of Unknowing. And it states, A soul is one with God. And then it reveals this truth. And it talks about the fact that you think your desires are your desires. You think that they came from within in you, but actually that's not true. It talks about the fact that those desires, by the time they reach your conscious mind, are the echo of life's desires. And those are life's desires that have come to you for you to express by means of itself through you. Isn't that lovely? Okay, whoever wrote the book, Eat, Love, Pray, I don't remember her name. Anyway. Yeah. She wrote another book about miracles. Sorry, author, I don't remember. But in the book, she talks about the fact that she had this great idea for a book. And she kind of like put it all down and kind of started working with it. And then life happened, and so she put it away. She goes and meets with another author a few years later, sometime later, and this author is getting ready to publish a book with the exact same type of characters and theme and ending. And she talks about the idea that ideas come to you. Inspiration comes to you. And it comes to you for you to take action. Melissa Gilbert, that's her name. Comes to you to take action. And if you don't take action, then that inspiration goes somewhere else for somebody else to take action. Has that ever happened? Have you ever had this great idea or this great thought, and the next thing you know, there's somebody doing it, offering it, or something? It's that same idea. Those desires that we have, they're ours because life itself decided for us, with us, that through us, we can do it. Think about that the next time a desire shows up and you stuff it. They are here to express and be experienced by us. So when you love something, when something stirs you, don't treat it like a random thought. Treat it as a possibility for a more fuller expression of who you are. Don't just put it aside for later. Allow space. Allow space to pray on it, to meditate on it, to journal about it, to research it, to read about others who have perhaps had a similar passion or an idea. Think about, what if you are the vessel that is to express and share with the whole world this? And what if it's not a responsibility, but it's an opportunity? Just an opportunity. Say the following with me, please. My desires are the echoes of life's desires to experience self by means of me. Okay, let's take a breath and try it like we really, really mean it, shall we? Here we go. My desires, the echo of life's desires to express itself by means of me. How could we say no to that? How could we not take that responsibility seriously? The most powerful force, the highest vibration, is love. And when we align with love, we're aligning with the flow of life. We are aligning ourselves with that abundance of the universe, all knowing, all powerful, everywhere present. Ernest Holmes says, find me one person who is for something and against nothing, who is redeemed enough not to condemn others out of the burden of his soul, and I will find you another Savior, another Jesus, another exalted being. You. We are all here in our exalted oneness with a heart full of passion and desires, just waiting to radiate. Ready to come out and play and change the world. One thought, one step, one action, one affirmation at a time. This week on my video, I asked people to share what affirmation, what is their go-to affirmation, that affirmation that is always available to remind them of their consciousness of love. I got some really cool responses. Mine is, I'm loving, lovable, and loved. And when I created that affirmation, I didn't believe a word of it. So this week, your assignment, if you choose to take it, is to find one thing that you love, one passion that makes you forget about time, that makes you happy, it lets your heart sing. It's something that you would rather do than anything else. Find that one thing and allow yourself to create an affirmation around it, the love and the passion of it. And then take a tiny step, just a tiny step. Just play with it. Reflect on it. Court its presence and see what it has to say. Because we are all in this together. And as we start to pay attention to what the universe is telling us, then we get to have something that we're working with. And then we get to share that with like-minded individuals like this community. And then we get to put more energy behind it because people like this community are in it with you. Think about how rapidly that one tiny step could turn into like a giant leap. And those ideas of how foolish, how stupid, that's not possible, that's unrealistic, just let them go. Put them aside for 1 month, just 1 month. Then you can take them back. If they're still there, because I don't think they will be. This month, let us be in this together to allow one passion, one desire to take root, to start to grow. Let us together grow. Now I'd like to close with a spiritual mind treatment. So if we could take a breath. Spiritual mind treatment, I'm saying this is our form of prayer, and I'm going to say it in first person. And if you're willing to join me, please do, because here's what I know is true. I know the truth is that there is just one, and that one is abundant. That one is life-affirming. That one is constantly saying, yes, my beloved. And that beloved is me. That beloved is in divine partnership with it. And I know who and whose I am. I am the expression of spirit in my unique way. And right here and right now, I claim the energy, the vibration, the power of love is influencing my every word, my every thought, and my every need. That the desire to do what I love to do is making itself abundantly, loudly clear. And I am willing to not only listen, to not only hear, but to trust and take action. and whatever it is. Because in this moment, I am ready to be a greater expression of love, of joy, and of peace. In this moment, I am willing to let go of woulda, shoulda, couldas and step into the now of yes. And so knowing that God is doing the heavy lifting, knowing that the wings of grace are always, always present. I release these words filled with love, filled with gratitude, filled with the knowing it is